Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to an SP Reacts, where today we got ourselves a track from an act named Mystic Voyage Music Group titled Our Father's Keepers. And if we switch over to here, I should note that apparently this track, it has been written and produced by Sakima Stringer, so that's cool. We're gonna listen through this track from start till finish and we're gonna hear what we think. Got the art up here on YouTube, let's do it. What do we got? I like that vibrato there, nice.
Yeah. If I ever need to see you, I just look down at my hands. Same vein, same fire, same builder of plans. Life repeats the pattern and the polish is the man. I'm not just your son, I'm the proof that you stand. Yeah, love don't fade, it just features. We honor what we carry with my father's keepers. You the best example of a man I ever known. Integrity heavy, but you carry the calm. I see you with my son, that stance, that grin. Crazy how life loops back, refine again. I used to think growing man walking away. Now I see maturity just widens the frame. The way you provided, the way you would lead was blueprint, love planted deep in the seed. Sometimes the jelly curl sand hit the air. Like you standing right beside me there. Not hunting, just present, just shifted.
Very cool response.
He gets re-gifted. I live my life partly in tribute to you, and how I show up in what I pursue. Gratitude louder than anything we missed. I understand the mindset more as life unfolds in scripts.
If I ever need to see you, I just look down at my hands. Same vein, same fire, same builder of plans. Life repeats the pattern and it polishes the man. I'm not just your son, I'm the proof that you stand. Yeah, love don't fade, it just features. We honor what we carry with my father's keepers.
Interesting verse takes there.
Teach my kids about the strength in your walk, about the discipline wrapped inside how you talk. Yeah. Tell them you were solid, tell them you were real. Tell them how a provider makes the family feel. I wonder sometimes what it would have been like if you met my wife, that would have felt right. Two words shaking hands at the dinner table. Legacy linking whenever it's able. I look in the mirror and understand more. Lessons evolve and the seasons restore. What I once resisted, I now recognize. Perspective grows taller with time and the size. You ain't just memory, emotion through me. And how I father and who I choose to be. Not repeating blindly, refining the plan. Grateful I'm shaped by the mold of that man. If I could sit with you, I wouldn't change a thing. I just say thank you for showing me strength, for showing me honor.
Great calm down here.
Us the way you knew how. You didn't leave, you multiply. And every time I got my children right, you're alive.
If I ever need to see you, I just look down at my hands. Same vein, same fire, same builder of plans. Life repeats the pattern and it polishes the man. I'm not just your son, I'm the proof that you stand. Yeah, love don't fade, just features. We honor what we carry with my father's keepers.
Great melodic kind of riff too. Rest in power, William Captain Stringer. Clearly this is a very important track to the people involved in this. Sounds like a fantastic person. Fantastic individual. We're going to talk about this track more in the conclusion. Because welcome to the conclusion of my review of this track from an act named Mystic Voyage Music Group. Reminder again that it was written and produced by Sakima Stringer. This track titled Our Father's Keepers. In this section I'm going to provide an overall song analysis of everything from lyrics and vocals all the way through to studio production, as well as any applicable constructive critique. And then finally my general thoughts from a listener's perspective. But first of all, what do we think this track is about? Patently to me this track is about the relationship, the memories, the lived experience of the son talking about their father, their experience in their life, wishing they could have been there to meet their wife and for two worlds to kind of shake hands, but understanding that sadly that just wasn't meant to be. It's interesting how we look at our veins and everything like that, and sort of like how we're growing and where we are as a person, how that relates to our, our father and stuff like that. And I think that more than anything, this is kind of a song where we are working through a variety of different feelings and things to kind of express it as a summation, an overall concept. It's a fitting tribute as well as, I think, a way of kind of like just creating compelling music, because I feel like stories like this will resonate. There'll be people that can relate to this, that have lost parents, that will be able to sort of feel and think similar things. And I feel like this kind of track not only is quite authentic and you know, it's also going to establish an audience. It helps as well that we have some really solid vocal takes, both from the main sort of like male vocalist and the sort of the rapped and melodic parts, both sung in like the interlude section, but also through the verses. But I also like the tales and melodies that the lady vocalists sing in their sections through the chorus. There's a speed to the way that we put those words forward in that hook line, but it doesn't seem like we're overdoing it at any stage. It's still quite a comfortable interaction there. There's enough range rhythmically, enough diversity with the quarters, eighths, and sixteenths within the stanzas and cadences to keep us intrigued. I think if the subject matter wasn't as compelling, you might not care so much, but I think there's just a way that we express ourselves that's just so grounded in its approach that you just can't help but want to sort of follow along with it. I think those parts we come down and have things a bit less sort of like intense with the percussion, even though this track is very sort of easy to listen to throughout. It's just nice to adjust that intensity a little bit, being mindful that we shouldn't take the listener's attention for granted there. And that happens both from when we switch from the rapping or the kind of melodic parts to just the parts we sing, and it's a bit slower and we take more our time with it to get the words out. And I just think that's really cool. And we show solid vocal tinny with some legato and vibrato parts there, adjust our tails occasionally. And there's nice calm responses between the main and the sides of the stereo field as well, between different vocal takes. And ultimately, I think the vocals are quite well done and they tell the story well. The structure of the track at 3 minutes 19, it's quite well spaced out. When you have a strong lead or a group of leads, you just need the instrumental backing to be able to push it forward. You have different verses and choruses and interlude sections, and it's definitely enough to kind of get us through. There are sort of like seamless transitions. There were some interesting reverse takes at one of the hook that I was a little bit uncertain about at first there, but I think it was just simply a slowdown part, maybe going back in time, trying to insinuate that. If that was the case, that was quite cool. Instrumentally, the drums are like quite a prominent part of it. We have some interesting quarter, eighth, and 16th note grooves, both on-beat and syncopated, switching up some sort of like slower kind of, like offbeat grooves with the snares, kicks, and hi-hats and crashes there. We allow some parts to float as well. We don't rely on that push forward a lot of the time there. It's got a normal time feel, but there's a lot of intrigue both from how the vocals and drums and other elements interact rhythmically. But we just have clicks at the start with those lady vocal lines there, and the keys there. They're just so pretty sounding. They're just so gentle and kind of like almost nostalgic, and it's just got a sweetness there, like an R&B-ish kind of flow there that sounds soulful. And you kind of feel like you're in a cozy place there while you listen to it. When the bass comes in around like the verse part there, I'm not just your son, etc. It's really cool to have that be kind of prominent, but also well maintained and well behaved. Bass is a difficult thing to really get right sometimes. If it's too aggressive, it sounds like it's overpowering the mix. If it's underpowered, then it just sounds like, well, why is it there, But we strike that balance well, both from a post, but also from like an actual fundamental functioning perspective. We have some chromatics and some interesting note choices there that are outside the diatonics and switch neatly between the different chords there, which we have some extensions, I think, on the keys there that are kind of neat. And we have some sort of strings or brass and parts like around the minute mark there, which are a nice sort of like sub-layer on the sides there. There's a mid-range sweetness that comes through with those just to make it sound a bit warmer. But there's also like kind of a ghostly ethereal kind of tone to the reverbs on those strings or brass there that kind of make them almost seem like we are going through our own headspace as opposed to something in reality. And like in parts like the interlude around the 225 mark there, you have this massive reverb tail to it where it just kind of sounds like these are the thoughts in our own head, almost like we're trying to reach across beyond. And you have like little kind of like adjustments of the kicks at the end of the interlude, for example, dom, 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 after going with a quarter and then an eighth there. We kind of build into it, but it's not trying to do an EDM-ish kind of build there or anything like that by any means. It's simply more of a kind of a gradual reintroduction to the fact that we're going back into the hook. And I just think the end part there, we've got the vocal lines sort of twisting and turning on the sides there, that last really pleasant harmony there. It's the icing on the cake. Effectively, instrumentally, very satisfying to listen to. No complaints on my part about the way that it's presented. And sort of thematically, it's minor oriented, because I think we are grieving, again, the fact that we couldn't have that kind of connection to them in real time, and that the person, that we're discussing, William, Captain Stringer, that they passed away. We're grieving that. So I don't think it would make sense for this to be a major key oriented track there. But we soften it with some of the extensions, and just the gentle nature, a lot of the elements that are involved within the track make it so that it's kind of a bittersweet experience, if that makes sense. Like, it's not trying to push one way or another, and I just feel like it's a very sort of mature, sophisticated take in that front. But yeah, the use of chromatics outside the minor scale or minor key, it was great as well. I'm just glad that we understand how to, again, make those transitions just a little bit smoother than they otherwise might be, and ultimately, quite happy with how things are played. Not a note out of place, tight instrumental performance. Studio recording, mixing, and mastering. Typically, I'm quite happy with the way that the vocal takes, the brass or strings, the bass, the drums, the keys, etc. are presented there. The recorded takes are quite sort of like they're solid sounding, and they're EQ'd well. There's no resonances in the frequency spectrum. We had some kind of reverse takes and a bit of sort of post-processing stuff and air candish kind of stuff occasionally, which was kind of neat as well from post perspective. The music's around you in the headphones. Sometimes some of the vocal takes go out to the sides as well and really fill out things there, which was kind of neat. They moved by themselves. There was never a moment where I was like wondering why we were doing something within the mix. There was dynamic range, both from a compositional production perspective. Things didn't seem too squeezed. Nice and loud, a little bit of pumping, but not too much. Bus compression limiting was handled. No applicable constructive critique for me. Again, like, I know I mentioned not being sort of sure about the reverse takes initially, but then I kind of figured that might be something referring to the next verse section or something like that, so that's fine. It's just a nice little bit of air candy there. From a final sort of general sort of like listener perspective, I feel like this is just a really beautiful track. I love when people are able to sort of express themselves and explore things like this openly and share it with people in a way that's true to them and also true to the music. And I wish everyone involved the best of luck in future with musical endeavors. I just had a good time listening through and reviewing it. So thank you very much for watching my review of this track from Mystic Voyage Music Group. Again, this track was written and produced by Sakima Stringer. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show them some love via their various social medias and their YouTube page, and stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I'll catch you in the next SB Reacts. Spiderhands out.